Hello, Guardians, and welcome to Destiny Reset, episode 166. This podcast is about anything and everything related to the Destiny franchise. If you love playing Destiny 2 as much as we do, you're in the right place. This reset, the Dreaming City enters its first loop. We take a look ahead at updates in store for October, and dine on meatballs a la Gambit. Hello, Guardians, and welcome. It's AER0KNIGHT and Mr. CyborgSasquatch. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
You know, I've been better, but I've been worse.
I was gonna say,
doing fine.
You're feeling better.
The drugs have worn off.
Is that good or bad?
Good for now.
Good for now. Well,
yes.
That's good to hear.
I had quite an interesting week. I had 5 teeth ripped out of my head.
Man.
Been recovering from that. On the bright side, I got to spend a lot of time playing Destiny.
Hey.
Yeah.
There you go.
I sounded funny for at least a few days, and my fire team wasn't too hard on me.
That's always one of those things when you do get sick, you're like, I hope I don't get so sick that I don't want to do anything but close my eyes and lay in bed. Like, if you can still pull off feeling okay enough to play video games, that's a good thing.
I slept a lot for the first 2 days, like 12 to 16 hours a day, but then I would be awake at least for like 8 to 10, and I would spend those playing Destiny.
Hey, so, that works.
Yeah, I didn't want to do much else, that's for sure.
Get that power level up.
Yeah, man. So I had some good grinding. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about Destiny.
Yes.
Do we have any announcements this week? I don't think we do.
We do not. No announcements this week. We've been on a roll. We've had announcements the past however many episodes. Oh, wait. No. We already said we didn't have any, man.
No, but we have to tell them. I mean, they're going to figure it out anyways.
Oh, that's right. This is actually a pretty big announcement. How did we forget this? We were just talking about it.
We just didn't put it in the notes.
Listen to this, Guardians. Just tell them, Cyborg. I mean, this is like, we went full circle on this.
All right, yeah. Bringing it back old school. From this episode forward, at least for the near future, we will be releasing on Mondays again.
Oh, hi.
If you are a long time listener, you may remember that's the original release date for DRP.
Original air date, go live date.
Yep. So we're shaking things up a bit with when we record and how we get things done, and we're gonna start putting it out a little bit earlier for you guys and gals, all you Guardians out there. We think you may enjoy this show a little bit more and give you an extra day before the reset to hear us yabber on for a while.
We feel like you might be excited to get that prompt notification and download Monday morning at the start of your work week versus Tuesday morning.
Or school week or whatever it is that you do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
let us know. We'd love feedback on that. I mean, we're moving ahead with it, but we'd love to know if you love that. Maybe you don't care either way. You'll just listen. But tweet us, email us, let us know if that's a positive for you or if you'd like Tuesdays better. And we'll take that feedback accordingly.
Of course. We definitely will. We hope you like this change, though. This change back to old form.
Yep.
So,
and shout out.
Happy Monday.
Shout out real quick this week to Destiny the Show, who I believe put out their final episode.
Yes. They're on the verge of it. I think they have. I believe they said on their last episode, over the next month, they're going to come to a close.
Okay, so they have more.
Yes.
I didn't get that far.
Yes. Man, I used to listen to those guys back before we even met, I think, dude. I think they had their show going for a little bit.
They do some great stuff. Yeah. Nice, short, brief.
Yes, that's, I think, why people liked it. Not what we do. Theirs is like 30 minutes, boom, you're done. Ours is a little longer than that.
Yeah, if you're a DTS listener and you're coming to to check out what we got, just know we're long-winded. Forgive
You
us
can,
for that.
hey, you got all week. You don't have to do it all in one sitting. Just on your commute. You'll get through it. It's okay.
Yeah.
But anyways,
guides.
we appreciate
the whole week.
their show very much. Great Destiny information and discussion source for sure for many years.
Absolutely.
Now. Shout out.
All right, man. You ready for some news?
Yeah, let's do some news. Got the
newsy news.
Twabe today.
Yeah, this week at Bungie, they celebrated 5 years, I believe, of This Week at Bungie. They didn't put it in the TWAB, but I saw a tweet today that Elliot, I think it was Elliot Gray, put up. And let me pull this up. Yeah, he said happy TWAB-iversary 5 years ago today, being, what is today, the 4th? 2nd? I don't know. 5 years ago,
10-4.
Yeah,
10-4, sir.
Elliot restarted the Bungie Weekly Update, now known as This Week at Bungie. Here's to another 246 blog posts detailing our 7-step world domination plan.
Yeah, that was cool to see the old name again. It's been a bit.
Yeah, man.
This week at
5
Bungie.
years. Well, this week at Bungie, Guardians gave chase to the goals that meant the most to each of them. Talked a little bit about what everybody's been up to and the different things they've been chasing, and some updates for how those things will be changing. So, first up, they talk about Gambit and the Malfeasance quest.
That's been a hot topic.
Changes. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that for sure. They have some changes in development for update 2.0.5 planned for October 30th. This could be changed or delayed or tweaked if anything causes any problems, but their intentions are, we've heard player feedback concerning the spawn rates of the Ascendant Primeval Servitor, and we are making adjustments to how frequently it will appear. That is the prerequisite for you to acquire the Malfeasance quest. Mm-hmm. You get the meatball, and you kill him.
It's one name for that boss.
Yeah, I think that's the one that stuck for us. So typically during the week 3 of the curse cycle, also known as a full curse week, the Ascendant Primeval Servitor will have almost the same chance to spawn as any other Primeval. We will also be increasing the chance for the boss to spawn during lesser curse weeks, but it will still be lower than during a full curse week. For full transparency, since that spawn rate will increase significantly, they're going to tweak how ship and sparrow rewards drop from the boss. So typically, if you already had the quest, or had finished the quest, I assume, there were at least 2 vanity items that would drop guaranteed if you defeated him. I believe that it was a sparrow and maybe a ship.
Yeah, it was almost painful to see people start posting those items because that meant they already got the original boss and people were on their 100th round of Gambit.
Yeah.
Oh.
So those items are no longer guaranteed drops for subsequent boss kills after you earn the quest. They only have a chance to drop after this patch. They are making some changes to Gambit matchmaking that will help with the extended load times. When this change is released, we will be re-enabling quitter penalties for the Gambit playlist. However, we have increased the number of games players can leave before they are restricted from the playlist. They're making this change to help mitigate some situations where bad internet connectivity results in a restriction. Finally, changes to power ammo crate changes. Sleeper Simulant ammo crate will grant 2 shots, down from 4. And Swords ammo crate will grant 12 sword ammo from 6.
So I assume that Sleeper is part of the aim assist tweak they're going to do as well to try to
I'm assuming that's part of it, although I did not see in any of the other patch notes that we're going to discuss that change that they had mentioned. doesn't mean it won't be there.
Right. Yeah. You'd think
the one thing I'm wondering about, does this apply to opening an ammo crate, that's on the wall?
That's what yep.
Or does it apply to all heavy ammo, like ammo that will drop as well? I would assume that could be different. I might be wrong.
Yeah, I would think for what seems to be their intention here is to take sleeper down a notch. It would be all.
Yeah.
But I guess we'll see. Yeah. Surely it'll be all.
I don't know, man.
I'm wondering how sleeper's gonna feel to everyone.
Right.
After these couple of changes.
Yeah. Well, they finally mentioned you should expect in future updates changes to Gambit bounties, how frequently you earn rewards, and other changes to the mode that will give teams in the lead a greater advantage. We'll be back in future weeks to shed more light on the future of Gambit as it continues to evolve. The Gambit team. That's all great stuff. I really, really enjoy Gambit. I love it so much.
Yeah, it's so fun, dude.
It's like ruined me on Crucible. Like, honestly,
really?
I mean, I've always enjoyed Crucible to an extent. There's been periods where I liked it more than others.
Mm-hmm.
Crucible
is so fun.
Actively
right now,
avoid the Crucible now.
Really?
I would play Gambit all day and night.
You're avoiding the Crucible because you don't like the Crucible, or just because Gambit is distracting
Gambit
you so
is
much?
way more fun to me.
So it's not that you don't like the current state of the Crucible. Gambit's just
there's nothing. I mean, I would say I would rather play Crucible now than in year one.
Yeah,
I think it is more fun, but I just think that I enjoy this game mode more.
Oh yeah, dude. I mean, it's yeah.
I guess compared to like in a game type that's competitive, I would rather play this than any other Crucible game type.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
but
I get that.
It's a little rough around the edges, which is understandable for a brand new mode, right?
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you really think about it, brand new. I mean, from my perspective, there are definitely some rough edges here and there, but I mean, it's pretty solid experience, for new launch mode.
Like, I have like a number of things that probably most players that played a lot would point out.
Yeah, you've played it a lot more than I have at this point. Yeah,
super long load times in a match is like really long.
Mm-hmm.
Problems with connectivity. Things like moats.
Yeah,
running over moats and them not registering.
But as the core of the idea of the game mode and the execution of it,
I think it's pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah, it's,
minus the little bugs or big bugs.
Yeah, there's some things that they can polish. There's some things they can tweak. Obviously, like, Sleeper causes a lot of frustration for people. It really, like, narrows.
Oh, yeah.
What people are using and what you can use, or what you may want to use effectively. It's not like you can't use the times that I've been invaded on or invaded and been shut down and had the least success is against good snipers.
Right.
So it's not like that there's no counter or no other options. It's just that if you go in and you're facing, a team of players with 4 sleepers and you invade and they just sit in their spawn, pre-charging sleepers just waiting to melt you. That's frustrating if you're an invader,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And vice versa. If you're getting invaded and you have somebody that has a full sleeper and has the catalyst and can charge it super fast and can kill you in your super, I can see how that could be frustrating too. Right. So there's things like that kind of stand out, but those are all things I think that can be solved. And there's some other, small tweaks to just mechanics of how things work that I think they're looking at. But I think,
I mean, there's definitely a whole team of of the Bungie team that is focused on Gambit and pretty much obviously created it, and they're passionate about it, man. I have spent way less time than you. I think at this point we've kind of had some talk throughout the week and just before recording, but I've spent a decent amount of time in Gambit, but I still got Crucible regularly distracting me. And I know, I know there's plenty more of matches that I'm going to be playing in Gambit because I really do enjoy it as well. I love just how it feels. I mean, probably where it taps into your interest so much too is it just feels like it's made for Destiny, and I still super get that vibe of like all these different types of games: tower defense, MOBA, Destiny, first person shooter, superhero. Like it's so fun, man. And I still haven't got my Bygones vendor purchase, so I've got.
There's the fun of like executing a strategy as a team and doing it well.
Yes.
There's the fun of, like
there's the fun of chasing someone that has 15 motes when you're invading.
There's the thrill, there's always the time pressure. There's the pressure
healing
from
the
invasion.
Enemy primeval. Oh, it's so fun, dude. Go in there and get a 4-kill streak. Yeah.
So it really, I think it really keeps like my heart pumping, and I have a lot of like, it's a ton of fun to come back and like turn around. It's fun to dominate. It's fun to, even sometimes when you lose, it's still fun, down to the wire.
It's a good time.
So I enjoyed a lot. It's, there's still that complaint that people have, and this is always going to be the case in a competitive mode, that people don't enjoy doing it solo. And I hear this a lot. I hear the same thing in Crucible Comp. You hear the same thing in Iron Banner. And people are always calling for, there needs to be a different lobby for solo queuers, et cetera, et cetera. And at the end of the day, it just is what it is. It's a team-based game. If you want to have fun and excel, you need to go in with the team. I get that you can't always do that. That's not always easy, but there's just not enough people to play it.
Yeah. I mean, and there are those matches that can like, you're like, man, okay, it's because I'm playing solo. But I gotta say, like, overall, I mean, I'm about halfway through the last rank of Heroic, so I'm gonna hit Fabled soon. I mean, overall, I've had a pretty decent experience solo. I mean, there's no like deep frustrations there from me. Granted, of course, everybody's experience is different and everybody's loading into different lobbies, but for the most part, I've had a few games that are like, okay, yeah, obviously this is because I'm running solo, or there's a team on the other side, stack of 4 that just melts the primeval. But that's just kind of your mindset when you go in solo, right?
Right.
And I mean, I did like that about Destiny 1. Didn't we get a playlist? What was that called in Destiny 1? Where you freelance? Wasn't that it?
Yeah,
where you could queue solo in the Crucible. I did like that as a solo player. So, I mean, I'm not opposed to that for Gambit or something, but you're right. It's like the competitive playlist. Gambit maybe could be seen as a little bit more casual than jumping into competitive, but, bring your team if you can. And if you can't, just kind of set your mind up for some possible upsetting losses here and there.
Yeah, it's a game you play to win.
Right.
I don't know. I hear people say there should be a competitive mode for Gambit. I'm like, there is. It's called Gambit.
Yeah.
That's what it is. It literally is described in the directory as a competitive PvE VP mode. Like, it is a competitive mode. It's not a strike. It's not for shits and giggles. Like, you go in to play to win. And I think people just have to be okay with that sometimes.
Right.
You wouldn't go into comp and say, well, there needs to be a different mode for comp, so I don't have to lose.
Right? Yeah.
It's just, that is what it was made for. I don't know. I don't want to sound like elitist about it because I enjoy the mode and I'm good at it. I just think that's how they made it to be. And you just kind of have to roll with that. There is one element that I'm not certain about, and that's the matchmaking algorithm. I only have anecdotal evidence. I believe that there is a skill-based portion that is based on rank, that determines who you're playing against and with, because I'm pretty close to a rank reset. I'm like 13,000 600 or something. And, I brought in, friends to play some matches. They're really sweaty, really competitive. And as soon as I dropped, they went in and they were like, oh my gosh, we're steamrolling these guys. Mm-hmm. And they were both really lower rank, on their, infamy. And it leads you to believe, okay, there's something with that going on. And so if that's true, then the higher your rank is, the tougher it's going to be if you're solo, right? Yeah. Just like in competitive and Crucible, the higher rank you are, the less you want to go in without a stacked team, because you're going to play against great players with stacked teams. So I don't know that for sure. I want to say that I recall Cosmo commenting. This might have been about something else. I remember him commenting on something about matchmaking and how Iron Banner matchmaking was the same. And I might be confusing that with Gambit. I thought it was related somehow, but we haven't really heard any official word on, what goes into the matchmaking Gambit. Right. Is it just totally connection based? Is it exactly? A combination? Yeah, we never know what that secret sauce is. They keep it so
we get some hints,
secret, man.
But we don't right now. Yeah, not with Gambit at all.
I would like to know though. I mean, just so you would know what you're dealing with, so that the more you play, as you get into that upper end of things, like that, you have to be a little more prepared, perhaps, and what to expect. Because I would imagine if you're a lower infamy rank and you're going in, you might have a better solo experience.
Maybe that's why I have. I don't know. I mean, I'm a little higher now,
I've had decent games solo. I mean, I've gone in and won. You just kind of luck of the draw. Do you get in with a team that knows what they're doing? Kind of knows the basic common strategies to at least give you a good chance of winning.
I have learned in Gambit, never think you're so far ahead you've won, and never think you're so far behind you've lost, because it seems like there's always a chance either way. You can absolutely screw up your lead, and you can absolutely come back. If you can come in and get that prime up and go in and invade and really be effective. We had a match the other night. They were ahead and we got our prime up. We were burning them down, and they had less than a 15th of his health left. And I invaded, and my team was burning the primeval as I was going through. So they had maybe, a tenth of the health left, right? So they were just a little bit ahead, but they were so close that it was not going to take much for them to win. And I mean, I got a kill right as they were about to just finish them off, and it gave just a little tick. And in that 2-second time, my team finished theirs and we won the round. Wow. I mean, it was just by a hair. There's just a second. There's so many neat things in Gambit, like the death healing primeval, and the just the little things like that make the biggest difference, and just add to the excitement of each match, right? I did want to ask you,
and that's super fun, man. That's so exhilarating to clutch that, have the whole team do just the right things all at once to pull it off.
And the communication, and then it's super rewarding, just of course in game and just as a team. It's something you talk about after you log off that night the next day. Remember, man, that match where we both, like you're telling us now.
I had another match. It was so close that literally when it called the victor, both of the primevals had literally zero health on the board. Wow. There was nothing on our primeval, so it had to be down to milliseconds.
How did the game decide?
Yeah.
I did want to ask you before we move on. I can't wait. I'm having fun just in Destiny 2 post Forsaken right now as a whole because I'm excited about the different builds that I'm going to build. Like I just recently, I'll talk in Reset this week, like I set up my first almost full Crucible build with a certain loadout. Have you gotten to that point in Gambit yet where you've kind of made yourself a specific build? Because I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I definitely have a very specific set of armor and weapons that I use in Gambit.
See, I love
put on every time.
I can't wait to like have that set for Gambit that I throw on like it's time to get serious. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't quite have that for Crucible.
Yeah.
And
there's just so many options too, man. Like every piece of it dictates like where you're gonna select a node here or there, or what weapon you're gonna use because of that. And I love seeing, dude. I've noticed like Datto released one I think this week. All the Gambit strategy videos that are going up now, like some things I didn't even think about, and things to pay attention to as you're playing. Just different little strategies that can make a difference. For example, like if you're, of course, don't always go for 15. And even if you just have 7 or 8, if you see it's going to bump you up to get your portal to invade, like you need to like evaluate that and decide if maybe you should do that and not go for 10. And there's so much, man. It comes across as like kind of this, I won't say simple game mode, but a simple idea. But there's so much more to it when you get in there, especially when
there's a lot of different ways you can skin the cat, so to speak.
Right. Yeah.
And I've done different ways. I've had things done that I just didn't even understand until I was totally screwed. Like, I mean, there's ways that you can be really aggressive with your blocker placement, very specific. There's ways about, having, if you want to do blockers a certain way, you can just have certain people pick up boats and other people do. I mean, you can specialize or generalize as much you want. There's a lot more to it than meets the eye. And I think as it goes on, people will pick up, different strategies and also different, you can start with a strategy and you can totally change on the fly depending on how the other team's playing to fit what you need to do to get there,
Right. Man.
It's a lot of fun, man.
We're on the verge of making this a Gambit episode, and we had no intentions. We're like in the middle of the twab.
Yeah, I'm really interested though to see what they do with it. Moving forward, I'm sure they're gonna kind of iterate and improve the mode a little bit, but I want to see what the next step is.
Which portion of the annual pass was Gambit Evolves? Was that
the Joker's
last
Wild, which is
last
spring?
One? Yeah, or was the second one? Second one. Okay.
Second one.
Okay. Yeah, that's
so we'll
exciting.
have a little while. It'll probably be, March or April, but it'll be cool to see what else they do. What they got in mind.
Can't wait. I've got much more time to spend in Gambit though before that comes around.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna shoot for that 3 reset this season.
Do it, Guardian.
Well, we were talking about updates, and they've got a little bit of a plan for what we've got coming up in the near future this month. Destiny update 2.0.4 scheduled for October 16th. By the time you hear this, that will be just a week away. So, some good quality of life stuff in here. The ability to hover over lost sectors to see their name once a player has looted them. That's going to be super useful.
Yes, that's huge. Thank you.
I can't tell you how many times I have to go pull up maps to see the names and stuff. Players can now track up to 3 pursuits. I'm assuming that is related to the, 2 bounties, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's
it's
great.
Like we backtracked a little bit. We could only track 1 like way back in the day.
Yeah. They're adding, 1, 2, 3 heavy weapons to the world legendary pool. They're increasing scout rifle damage in PvE and against non-player enemies in Gambit. Fixed a bug where prime engrams were growing to the postmaster at end of Crucible matches. Adding transmat effects to collections under the flare category. So they started tracking those with the launch of Forsaken. Any transmat effect gained, used, or dismantled after September 4th will be unlocked. And to be clear, these are only unlocked when they're added to your inventory, not when you gain ships that have them. Identified a very rare issue where Gambit invasion portals will not reactivate once used, in developing a fix. And a fix for an issue where 1,000 voices may cause loud screeching audio when fired.
Thought the screeching audio was classic. I chuckled on the adding the weapons at legendary pool because they throw in that little cheeky edge transit will soon have some company. And I'm like, is that their fix for the edge transit drop rate? Is to just add
that
more
might be
to the pool?
Definitely part of the problem is in the general loot pool. If you're not pulling, if it's not pulling, say, specific Dreaming City items in that pool, there's not a lot of heavies there to drop. And I mean, I think that's part of it.
To me, Edge Transit, and I know some people are getting sick of the jokes, but they're kind of still funny to me. But it's the classic, and I may have said this on another show, an episode already, but like we will remember Edge Transit. We will talk about it like a year from now on episode 200 and something. Like it's part of playing Destiny. These things, they're just funny when they happen, right?
They're just infusion fuel, you know?
Yeah, it's just
for me.
One of those milestone, maybe not milestone, but one of those memorable moments. We'll all remember those two words while we're playing Destiny.
Well, next up, they have update 2.0.5 planned for October 30th. They say, keep in mind that these changes are currently in development. They could be impacted by delays or cut if issues are found. Stay tuned. The rebalancing functionality of distribution / dynamo perks, requiring players to be near opponents for super energy benefits. I think this is due to some things that you can do with super mods and dynamo perks in the Crucible that will give you some quite ridiculous recharge times
of supers.
Man,
there's some of my favorite content creators right now are throwing out builds that just with the new Sentinel Titan and the new Hunter, man, it's unbelievable how fast you can get your super back. It's gross.
Slightly increasing sword damage in PvE. Slightly increasing fusion rifle damage in PvE. Increasing viability of malfeasance in PvE and Gambit activities. I think that's a good choice. I've heard it's a little bit lackluster. Adjusting visibility of the Titan's banner shield, making it easier for players to see through the effects. Adjusting exotic rewards to help reduce the number of duplicate drops. I wish that this was coming a lot sooner.
Yeah.
Players may still receive duplicates, but there will be better chances for Forsaken exotics.
That's a big one, man. I still don't have a Forsaken exotic armor piece.
Man. The chance for a Nightfall unique reward to drop will increase each time a Nightfall is completed without a unique drop.
That's pretty cool. I love that one, dude. Yeah, I like that a lot.
I wonder if that like carries over like week to week. You know, so like the longer and the more times you run it just over time,
I hope eventually,
so. Right?
Yeah, I hope that doesn't reset each week. I mean, that's just a nice change that makes it seem like more worth your time and not 100% RNG, right? The more you play, the more chance
make it
you
less
have.
of a crunch too. So if I just had time and I ran it, 5 times this week, didn't get it, I know eventually when it comes back around, I've got a good chance and I don't have to like sit there and just run it all day.
Yeah. Yep.
There's some pretty good stuff out there.
I mean, I don't run a lot of Nightfalls, but I still haven't gotten... I've ran some, and I've never gotten...
I don't know if I have any Nightfall unique rewards.
Yeah.
I don't think I do.
I really wanted
to go check.
Silicon Aroma or whatever, that sniper.
Yeah. I'd like that. I'd like DFA, you know?
Oh, yeah.
There's other stuff, too.
Yeah, I came across DFA in my... why am I forgetting the word? Not Triumph. What is that menu called?
Collections.
Thank you. I came across it the other day, just kind of looking at some stuff and clearing out that little icon that I do pretty regularly. And
man,
it's
I
like
can't
clearing
do
out
that
notifications on your
There's
phones.
too much stuff,
dude. I do. I just go through it like I don't even know. It's just at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go in here and get rid of this stuff. That stuff doesn't usually bother me, but for some reason in the Destiny menus, I'm like, I'm gonna go get rid of these. I wish there was like I think I said this last week, like a seen all or something, even if it's per category or something, like if you don't want to go in there and have to do that. But anyways, yeah, I came across it in my collections the other day. I'm like, yep, never got that. There's a lot of them that I would like. So this is cool. I like this one a lot. Very cool.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Adding Masterwork cores as rewards for specific spider wanted bounties and general scrapper bounties.
Are they adding Masterwork cores, or are they adding another name? Or are we not going to see that until after this?
Whatever they're going to be called, upgrade cores.
Hopefully we see that change in one of these patches.
Time gate cores.
Time gate cores.
This is good. I wonder if it's going to be enough. I don't know. I mean, you can only do that once a week. Mm-hmm. You know, for each one. I'm sure that it says for specific bounties, so it doesn't mean all of them. Mm-hmm. So I wonder, you know, okay, how many are we going to get? And I can do this once a week, I guess, on each character. We'll just have to see. But that kind of, you know, it's a very narrow scope of activity to get those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like there needs to be, you know, can there be bounties from different vendors to earn these so you can do other types of activities?
Well, like many Guardians, I'm sure part of my daily routine is to at least go buy 30 shards worth. I go buy 2 cores from Spider every day.
Yeah.
Usually.
I'm getting a little tired of chores, I'll be honest with you.
That's part of my routine right now. I'm not saying that is the way we should play Destiny, but for right now, those 2 cores are very important to me to get every day.
Yeah, no, I've been doing that too every time I log on. If I can remember, I go pop in and grab a couple, but
I've still been trying to get into the routine of, I mean, you pretty much, I think at some point we might have a question about this in this episode or a future episode, but I've been trying to get in the routine to get the bounties again, man, because you pretty much have to make a tower trip before you start anything.
Yeah, I mean,
to get what you need.
It doesn't take a short time to load into all these public spaces. Like, you got to fly to the tower, you got to load in there. You got to fly to Tangled Shore, you got to fly to Dreaming City, you got to fly here, you got to fly, and then you can play. You know, 20 minutes later. Like, that's all great, but that's a lot of playtime for some people. One thing I would love to see would be some way I could spend Glimmer in the tower. Mm-hmm. 'Cause sometimes, you know, I'll just max out and I'm like, okay, well, I know there's places I could spend this so that when I'm going to do this activity, you know, I'll continue to earn Glimmer, but that might mean, okay, I have to go fly there first. So that's another, you know, 8 minutes until I can get into that activity just because I want to max my Glimmer. So it'd be nice if there's just some vendor that offered something for Glimmer. Mm-hmm. Maybe like even the gunsmith or something.
Yeah. Some way to burn it quick so you can.
Yeah, just so I can, you know, let me drop 10 grand Glimmer real quick just so I can continue to earn, right?
Right. Yeah, I run into that. Definitely.
That'd be cool. Finally, reducing the time for single shader deletion from your inventory. I'm sure people like that. And we're developing a fix for an issue where a team will defeat the Ascendant Primeval Servitor, but the opposing team receives credit for the kill. Oh my gosh.
There's some things that you don't know is happening, and that one's painful. There's so many layers there of pain.
Just be like, what? Could you imagine though being on the other side and like the other team beat it and you lost?
I guess as much pain as there is, there's happiness. That's true.
Oh man,
that would stink to be on the other end of that.
Yep. All right, let's talk now about wishes and curses.
That's an interesting
So they
one.
mention right about now, you might be wondering when another version of the raid will rear its ugly head full of eyes and teeth. So they asked the raid team to deliver a statement about the raid and what's going to happen. They mentioned, as you've noticed, our goals for this expansion have been very different. All year long, we've been working behind the scenes to reinvent the way a story campaign feeds into a lasting hobby. We set out to change everything from the way you collect gear to the way you tackle the end game. They go on to explain, essentially, one of the choices that they made to achieve the goals that they had with that they would not create multiple difficulties of Last Wish. Instead, they would just make sure the single difficulty mode was highly rewarding and that there was plenty of unique activities to participate in for great rewards across the entire end game. So they focused on creating one definitive version of Last Wish with no qualifiers attached to it. So they finish with, if you're holding an annual pass, look for more about the next lair we're creating for a raider such as yourself real soon. First, though, there are other events to observe.
We were thrown off by this. We were talking before the show because just a few episodes ago, we covered Scott Taylor doing an interview for a Japanese magazine or online gaming websites, and they asked him about the raid, and he mentioned that it was in the works, and there is a hard mode or a prestige mode, and it'll be out, at some point in the future. Now, we talked about, we got to take into effect here, maybe it was error in translation. There could be a few keywords there that could be chosen that are wrong and make it seem different than what it actually is. But at the same time, if he said there is not going to be one, you would think that wouldn't have an error in translation. So it's just strange. I had to read this section multiple times because I did not see this coming from anywhere. I think they did deliver on as far as like the impact that the raid has on the story and, this cycle that we're getting in the Dreaming City and the difficulty of it, I think is there, but, you're the raider, more of the raider between the two of us. The light level requirement is 550 and it scales up. Does it scale all the way up to 580 by the end, or is it 590? Do you know?
I want to say 585.
Okay. So at least it scales up to that far. But at the same time, it's just like everything else in Destiny. If you're a raider, you eventually want something else to tackle, right? Granted,
it's definitely not conventional.
Yeah. Granted, the raid layer, we're getting a raid layer with Black Armory, right? And then we're not getting one. Is it called?
We'll see another one in the summer. Yeah, with Penumbra.
We're the first and then the third. So I guess we're getting one fairly soon. But I still feel the pain for raiders though, because again, you always want some sort of challenge. And if you've beaten the raid, the raiders out in the community they're crazy, right? They're wild. They'll master this thing. We already seen some of the videos of some of the crazy stuff they're doing, not with a full fire team. So, it is nice to have that prestige mode for those Guardians. What do you think, man? You're the raider between the two of us right now.
I can see, I understand what they're saying in the choice that they made. It's likely a choice that came down to resources. Do we take the time and, essentially develop two versions of this raid? I'm sure that takes time to build, time to test, and it's a challenge to make both versions, challenging and fun and rewarding. Hard mode typically had to have a separate set of gear, and it's of some kind. So I think if the trade-off was, and that seems to be what they're alluding to, the trade-off was, make one definitive version and be able to do other types of activities as well. Things like we saw last week, like the Shattered Throne dungeon.
I mean, the Shattered Throne dungeon is huge too, man. Like that's like
big.
Mercules kind of made me realize, you know, a buddy of ours, he was talking about like that is really a big deal. It's a new kind of event in Destiny and a new thing and very challenging, you know, and it's worth, you know, putting it up on that pedestal, you know. So you're right. I think things like that are definitely important to mention.
So ultimately, I mean, would we love to have a hard mode or a prestige mode? Absolutely. You know, I think the people that play this type of content, they've always enjoyed that challenge and stepping up to the plate for the next round. And, you know, that's cool. It's, you know, it's a little disappointing. It won't be there. On the flip side, it's a pretty big raid.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of encounters. If you master them, you know, you can get through it pretty efficiently, but it is a long raid. Mm-hmm. So, I think
you're okay with it.
Yeah, I'm going to live with it. You know, I think with Scott Taylor, with that kind of interview in question, it's very likely that things could have been mistranslated. Mm-hmm. It's also likely that at that point in time, they hadn't 100% decided not to put something out. Mm-hmm. It's possible that they were tinkering with doing a prestige version that's similar to how they handled raid layers and decided not to. Mm-hmm. They could have scrapped it, you know, as late as a few weeks ago. I don't know.
Well, it's pretty important too that you're kind of okay with it. You know, I think that kind of shows how much fun we're having in this expansion and how much there is to do, right? You do that. Yeah. You do that this time last year or a little bit later in the year and people might be pretty upset about it, right?
Yeah. And, you know, ask again in a month.
True.
Because typically by that time, like we've got our hands on hard mode and that's what we're running, you know, and that might just be part of it. You know, the fact that normal mode becomes almost disposable at a point. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not to say that there's not plenty of people going in later and doing normal mode of a raid first and then going on to hard, or maybe not at all. But for hardcore raiders, once you get your hands on hard mode, that's what you're going to run. Mm-hmm.
Normal mode, I mean, normal Last Wish will get you to 600, right? I mean, it is
I believe so.
Okay. I mean, I even, in reading this, man, I mean, I've even thought, you know, I spend so much time in the Crucible. I want to get in and finish this raid, but there's always like, I don't know. We complement each other so well on the show, at least in our current play style right now, because I don't know if I'll finish this raid just because I enjoy the Crucible so much. So two totally different types of players, right?
Is like, something different about this raid is how much of a wide gear check there is. Mm-hmm. It scales up over a kind of a wide power gap. And I mean, that's part of the reason that we didn't finish it yet. Mm-hmm. Like, I haven't finished it. We're okay to finish it now, but you know, we couldn't finish it in the first 2 weeks probably because of time and the gear check. And that's a little bit of an artificial difficulty barrier, but at the same time, I kind of see it as part of a bigger plan over, you know, okay, they kind of built things out to be experienced over a longer period of time with more ways to get stuff and kind of a slow climb as opposed to, okay, you know, power through it and get up to almost max power in a week and then get the raid and then bam, you're all the way up there. There's no more, you know, no more climb anymore. You're just there. Yeah, we can talk about it on later episode, kind of once I've gotten through things. I mean, I have kind of a mixed feelings on that whole deal, but
yeah, there's been a whole conversation in the community about that aspect of how long it takes to get into the raid and do this or that. Hopefully I can get into a few encounters by the time we have the raid episode as well. I think, I don't know, man. I think it's okay.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah. We'll see how it pans out over the coming months. There's just so much. I mean, we're going to talk here on this next thing. I wasn't ready for Iron Banner when it came up. I still have like plenty to do, and much fun to be had. I've just started to work on some builds and stuff for Crucible that I'll talk about here in a little bit. And, before we know it, we're going to have another event coming up.
Yep. So perfect segue.
Yes.
Welcome to October. This month will be home to another Festival of the Lost. Begins on October 16th with a celebration of lost heroes and a new challenge to tackle. It includes a costume party, and you're all invited. It ends with a quest to solve a murder.
It's interesting.
Who do you think's gonna get murdered?
I don't know. I still wonder if Festival of Lost is gonna kind of be a little bit, I don't know what a good word is. Shallow sounds too negative. I wonder how much depth we'll get with Festival of the Lost. I definitely think it's going to be way more than we gotten in the past and way less of an Eververse fest, right? At least that's the hope.
Yeah, one would hope.
I do think,
it
though...
mentions a new challenge to tackle.
Yeah. And again, I was going to say previously with the raid too, I feel like Bungie, they're a top-notch developer. I feel like though over the last year and everything we've talked about, community feedback, this or that, like things that they're shoving out and pushing out into Destiny now seem pretty fine-tuned and pretty based on player feedback and with, their expertise intertwined and like the Last Wish raid. I mean, it's a very challenging, from what I've heard, fun raid to do with your team once you can do it. So I hope things like Festival of the Lost will seem more fleshed out. I will say the one sentence, it seems like they're making it have more of a focal point. I know it's always been about a celebration of the lost heroes, but I feel like maybe it'll have a bit more of a focal point. And because of that, I guess I mentioned this many episodes back. And I don't think this is a spoiler at this point, but, if you want to fast forward like 30 seconds, you can. But you remember way back when I mentioned, the statue we bought of Cade? There was a little snippet on the website. And what that said is that that statue will be in the game somewhere.
Right.
So I'm wondering if maybe I'm like, where is it at? Like, how are they going to do that? So I'm wondering if we're going to see it with Festival of the Lost. Like, there'll be something to celebrate Cade.
I can see that.
Yeah, I hope so. I really want to see that. It's on my shelf now. I really want to see that statue of Cade somewhere. So yeah, I'm hoping so. We'll see.
We will see.
I'm excited though. I enjoy more events. You're higher light than I am, especially after your grinding you said you did this week. I'm about to hit 550 and I'm really happy with that, with the time I've put in. But, I still have plenty more grinding and plenty to do. Like these events, hopefully they're powerful, rewarding in ways, because then I have more grinding to do and more decisions to make if they're not. Yeah. Like I want to experience them. So
for sure.
Hopefully not another.
There's kind of a delicate balance, because when there's this much to do, you want to have an event where there's something unique to do, but you don't want it to be so time consuming that you can't fit in the other things that you're trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like doing your raids or running Crucible and just whatever. That was kind of the problem I had when Iron Banner came up. It's like, okay, that's great, but I'm like on the power grind. I'm doing this quest. Yeah. I get this, and that due. I'm like,
I played like
second
5
fiddle,
games. Maybe.
So hopefully like there's things that you can do that involve it that, you can do while you're playing other activies,
Yeah.
Like different bounties and stuff like that.
We have the opposite issue now. Like we have what we asked for a year. We have too much to do. And I definitely would rather have this scenario. But yeah, there's definitely a decision to be made sometimes. Like I just flat out decided, okay, I'm not running much Iron Banner this go round. I'll wait for the next one. And I guess
it's a tough balance
it's not a
to strike,
bad thing to have to make that decision, I guess, in certain areas. So
well, next up in the player support report, they talk a little bit about Season of the Outlaw, how players gain ranks and earn loot from Commander Zavala. I have a little bit of a clarification about how Nightfall ranks work. I would also recommend this explains it great. There's I also saw this week our buddy Fallout Plays has a really good video on how Nightfall ranks work and
I'm just watching that today.
Yeah, how to do those. But if you're not aware, Nightfall ranks is a new thing that you may not have even noticed, right off the bat. But if you go visit Zavala, you'll see that he has specific rewards for reaching Nightfall ranks. And to do this, you earn a higher Nightfall ranks each time you complete a different Nightfall strike with a bonus threshold beyond 100,000 points. So for each Nightfall where you surpass its bonus threshold, the Nightfall rank will increment by 1 point. So basically to hit like the max, which is I think 14, or maybe that's just what the reward tier is, you would need to do 14 different strikes where they are the Nightfall and have 100,000 points plus on each one. And
that's a lot.
Rank 14 is a tier 10 masterworked toil and trouble shotgun that has some really nice perks on it.
It's insane for PvP.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll be getting it, but I would like to. This makes me wonder too, maybe I mentioned this in an episode already. I don't know. I miss Zavala having the numbered rank next to his.
He still has it. It's at the bottom.
Is it really?
Yeah, when you get packages, it increases, and it's like a little thing at the bottom of his.
It's actually UI. Like tells you you're
There's
at
a number
35.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Rank 35. Okay, well I'm good then. I miss it. I missed it. I don't see
it's
it.
Not as
I haven't seen
it's
it.
not as much up front and center though. It's on like the bottom half of the UI, I think.
That simple thing, I've just always liked that simple thing. I loved it when they added it back. So
yeah. They're working on some issues with players encountering weasel errors when attempting to log into one or more of their characters. They know that it is caused by bounties expiring when left in your postmaster. So make sure if you end up with bounties in your postmaster that you dismantle or pick those up before you log out of a play session to prevent that issue. And there's some other issues that they're working on, known issues. Go check these out. Last, the movie of the week. The spoiler 13th Wish was found in the raid, and it enables you to complete a triumph called Petra's Run, which is a flawless raid of the Last Wish. Quite a tough one, if I would say. And it has been completed. Just a triumph.
Just a triumph, okay.
Just a triumph.
There you go.
And some other cool videos as well. Go check these out. Last, Tim G leaves us a special secret edge transit hidden in his sign off. You can go find that as always.
I do appreciate the jokes, dude. I think it was a member of, we talked with him on Twitter, one of the Gambit team members. He commented on Twitter to somebody. I think it was about the jokes getting old, and he said, "Well, that's a bit edgy, don't you think?"
Oh my gosh!
If you can't, in a corny way, joke about it, just have some fun. Like again, I've already said it. It's just part of the Destiny experience.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, you were gonna mention some things.
A couple other things I noticed worth reporting this week. A user on Reddit is reporting, according to his testing, that there was a nerf to the base damage of Whisper of the Worm. Community manager Dimg has replied and said that he is not aware of that he's going to bring it to the team and see if it was unintentional or if it was undocumented. They're going to try to figure out what's going on with that. The teams are looking at more ways to get you mods a bit more often. They're going to give more info when available. That was also a comment on Reddit from one of the community managers. Also available as of right now, if you have unlocked the Ace of Spades, meaning you've completed the quest, you can use the Bungie rewards system and go to the Bungie store, and you can buy either a quarter scale replica of Ace of Spades or a Ace of Spades t-shirt.
Right.
I don't know if it's either or if you can buy both.
I think it's either or.
Okay.
Oh, wait, you mean once you buy one, can you buy the other one?
Right. Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Actually, sorry, I don't know. It's definitely two different.
I'll find out.
Two different codes that you have to request.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get the gun replica.
I know. I want that. Somebody mentioned on Twitter like the actual size of it.
It's like, small. It's quarter scale is like, somebody mentioned like a keychain size. I'd say it's a little bigger than that, but
a little bit bigger.
It's small.
It's like, I can't decide now if I want it or I just want to wait and have someone make me an actual size of a gun that I want, because it's like I do want them, but for $55,
well, I'll put it to you this way: to get a replica made in the quality that you may see from like Impact Props, you're looking at well over $1,000.
Yeah, it's way up there.
So
yeah, I mean, you could surely you can get like decent quality for
you could.
Or so.
I've seen a wide range of quality though in Destiny gun
have
props.
To get some recommendations.
Yeah, and I would say that you get what you pay for.
Mm-hmm.
Put it that way.
I don't know. I may end up. I can't decide now though if I do get one, if I'm going to get Ace of Spades or Luna's Howl, because Ace of Spades is like this iconic hand cannon, and then Luna's Howl is like, okay, you got that in game. I respect that.
Both.
Yeah, right. $110 plus Bungie shipping later.
I know. I have a problem though. So these are pretty cool though. I like these rewards. I mean, on the lower end though, you can get a pretty cool looking t-shirt.
Hey,
t-shirt.
It is pretty cool. I like the design.
I even like the t-shirt, but the prop is going to last longer. So
true. And it's that size, while smaller,
it's easier to display.
Hand cannon replicas here. Easier to display on your desk or something, or your shelf.
Right.
Yeah.
So, you had posted something here about a quote unquote leak.
Yeah. Sometimes, you and I talk about these and we decide if we're going to bring them up or not, how legitimate they are. This one was an interesting one. I saw several creators covering this for one main reason. There was a user on Reddit who made a post this week basically stating that I believe Thunderlord will be coming back with Festival of the Lost, and that we will see the last word with the Black Armory first annual pass DLC drop. And it was just, that's all it was. It was a sentence, and it's like, okay, whatever. But the reason many felt it necessary to bring up was because this same user posted pre-Forsaken release almost exactly what we ended up getting. 9 new supers. Like people were saying, there's no way we're getting all this stuff. Responding to him, like 9 new supers. And I mean, several things that we actually did get in Forsaken, he or she, this Guardian posted prior to Forsaken's launch. So that gave it quite a bit more legitimacy than just a random post somebody decided to throw up on Reddit. Now again, take all this with a grain of salt. We have absolutely no idea. We do know that heavy machine guns are coming back. And Josh Hamrick did actually tease in a tweet, it's probably been a month or two ago now, that I think it was something along the lines of like, they hear our thunderous feedback or something. about heavy machine guns. So, I mean, it's very possible Thunderlord will be coming back at some point. But other than that, that's pretty much all it was. So who knows? May not be the case at all. But I will say, if the last word comes back, I will not have any problem with that at all. I would like to see that gun again and that animation. The Ace of Spades is as close as we can get to it right now. So
yeah,
that's the story on that. Again, we'll just take it as not true until we actually see what happens, but worth mentioning.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see. Well, this time will be the tell.
We don't have too long to wait to see if Thunderlord comes back.
I'd be surprised if we saw Thunderlord before the Black Armory.
Right. It seems like a lot of those.
You never know.
I mean, it's very obviously weapon based, that DLC. So we'll see what happens. I'm excited for that one. I was hoping we get Last Word back with the launch of Forsaken with the theme, that or No Land. But I'm interested to see what makes a return. I'm okay with these Destiny 1 exotics coming back around as long as we have, some new ones sprinkled in there as well. So that's pretty much that, man.
Yep. Finally, in some semi-related Destiny news, this might be like a week old, so we might be a little late on this. This was, I think, September 30th.
Yeah, we recorded early last week. Well, our new usual, but I think it was after we recorded.
Yeah, so reportedly, this is Eurogamer is reporting that Bungie submitted a trademark application for an unknown intellectual property called Matter. The application was made on the 28th of September to the European Union Intellectual Property Office. Doesn't give much away, but it's been filed against categories 9 and 41, which represent computer game software and online entertainment services. There's also a graphical representation accompanying the filing, which looks like a logo, kind of a cool looking logo. Kind of like a big splash of prism of a color and matter.
Right. Yeah. It definitely has that MMO-ish vibe sound to it. Or like some
it's
sort
broad
of
enough to just literally be anything, right?
Yeah, anything. So we'll see. We shall see.
We will find out.
Plenty of time before we probably hear anything about that.
Yeah, it could be a while, but they're reserving the right to call it that.
It always just amazes me. We've talked about this before. I mean, I'm not old by any means, but even when I was a kid, dude, like having video game company or video game information in a magazine, like just to see some screenshots and nothing online was like my childhood. And now it's like we're figuring out what they're trademarking and data mining this and that. It's just crazy, man. It's so different. Yeah. So different just in like 20 to 30 years time.
Yeah. Things move a lot quicker and there's a lot more information that's easy to access,
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Well, I think that's all the news this week.
Yes. That's pretty much it.
Let's do take a minute real quick to mention our sponsor for this episode, Audible. If you don't know about Audible, it is a service that offers audiobooks. And for listeners of DRP, Audible is offering a free audiobook download with a free 30-day trial to give you an opportunity to check out their service. I've used Audible for years now. I have quite a big library on there. It's great because I spend a lot of time in the car during my workday. I travel all over. And instead of listening to, just radio and when I run out of podcasts, I pop on audiobooks and I listen to all kinds of great stuff. Help me learn, help me, stay focused on things or even just read some fiction when I want to hear something new. So I couldn't recommend it enough. Arrow, I know you use Audible as well for quite a while.
Yep. I enjoy it. I'm a big podcast listener, of course. And why not also listen to books, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And one cool thing as well, this free trial comes with, basically a free book. Even if you don't continue using the Audible service, you get to keep that book. That's
a big one.
It's a win-win right there. You're basically getting a free audiobook. So
yeah, it's not like you're locked out of it once your subscription is canceled or something.
Right. You're not renting it or something. So I want to give a quick recommendation if you need something to listen to. One book I read a little while ago was called The Immigrant Edge. That's immigrant with an E. How to Make It Big in America by Brian Buffini. Brian Buffini is a immigrant from, I believe it was Ireland. And what I really loved about the book is how he kind of breaks down the different mindset that someone immigrating into America has about opportunity and about what it's like to live here compared to other countries, and just how they live their life differently and how they're able to take advantage of opportunity in a way that's different than maybe if you're a natural born citizen and you already have those advantages in life. So it really gave me a unique take on, what is afforded to us here. And, if you live in America, looking for a great book to motivate you to take your life, your job, your business, whatever to the next level, this was a great book. Really motivational, really inspiring story, of what Brian did with his life. So go check it out. Aaron, do you have a good book you could recommend?
Well, dude, I'm all over the place with my books on Audible. The most recent book I was listening to is called, it's similar to yours. For some reason with books, I love any kind of book, but I always like to feel like I'm learning some aspect of something when I'm reading. I do enjoy fictional books, but for example, my most recent book is called Affiliate Marketing, by Michael Izinaka. That's what I'm going to go with. Sorry if I didn't get that right. Basically, man, affiliate marketing is like a method. It's online business and a method, methods of earning money through the internet and things of that nature. Just all kinds of different things. And, I just like stuff like this. I have another book that I was reading that I haven't finished yet called Side Hustle. And all it is it talks about, and that's by Chris Goulibe. I got to put that like random little accent in there. So if I messed it up, it doesn't sound too bad. Side hustle is about, things you do throughout your day while you're working your 40-hour-a-week job that you enjoy, that you don't realize you have knowledge in, that you could possibly turn into some sort of monetary gain for yourself and your family, that you just don't even realize. So it helps you identify that stuff like throughout your day that has the potential to turn into that. And it's pretty interesting, really. And affiliate marketing, it kind of branched me off into that because that's kind of an example of something like it, things that you can do in affiliate marketing, to make money, that you can, all this stuff is kind of on the side of whatever your 40-hour-a-week job is. So this stuff is just fascinating to me. I always like to learn different aspects of business and different ideas and things of that nature. So if you guys are interested in that stuff at all, I do recommend these books. I'm about, I want to say, a quarter to a third of the way through each of them. Maybe not as far through Side Hustle, but I'm enjoying them so far. It's kind of one of those things. You get a free book a month. So, if you end up not liking it, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
So,
well, to tell you how you can take advantage of this finally, you would go to audibletrial.com/Destiny Reset and sign up. Pick out your free audiobook. So that's
free book.
Yep.
If you don't want to completely nerd out like us, just go get like a Game of Thrones book.
There you go.
Something. Well, actually, that's a different
awesome
kind of
stuff,
nerding
like some real, contemporary classics. They have pretty much everything you want to hear. The Game of Thrones series, they've got Harry Potter. I hear the the audio, the narrators and stuff are phenomenal in some of those books. So go check them out.
Yep.
Thank you to Audible.
Thank you.
So Arrow, how was your reset?
Oh, dude, I've done some stuff this reset. Started my reset off by going straight to the Dreaming City this go round and doing most everything there. I think I still have a couple bounties to do. I did complete my first Ascendant challenge. I had attempted one previously, but I think I mentioned last week I wasn't able to finish it solo. But I did do this week's. It's not super hard. You kind of have to scale down some crazy jumps and take out a couple wizards or witches or something, right? I think. So I got that completed, and then I got my other stuff from Petra and got some great bumps, dude. Pushing 550 right now, spending more time in the Dreaming City. So once I did that, you know, I kind of chip away at my dailies and my weeklies kind of throughout the reset at this point. We mentioned last week the kind of the strategy about doing these things. So hence the reason I went to the Dreaming City first. But then, man, it was time after that. I decided it was time to get my chaperone. So I chipped away at that, which isn't a super long quest. I really thought it was going to be longer. Like it's 4, maybe 5 steps.
It's not too bad.
Yeah. I mean, the final step is to go get 15 Guardian kills in Gambit. I thought that was going to take a minute, and that surprisingly didn't take very long at all. I mean, you just jump in that portal and try to get a couple kills when you're in there. So a few games. Got the chaperone, man. And, well, before I get into that, I did finish leveling my Warlock. So I have 3 max level characters. Of course, my Hunter and my Warlock can only top out at like 5, 10, maybe. But still, I got them maxed out and they're ready to go to jump into, do some things. I've learned playing the different classes again, what I always like, the little things I always liked about each class. I love how the Hunter melees. I just love the Hunter melee. It's like this sideways, like punch. And then I love the way Warlocks throw grenades. It's just like this nonchalant, like, here, take this massive amount of pain, little flick of the wrist. It's like such little details, but I don't know what it is about it. I like them. I guess I just like the Titan all around. But anyways, got my Warlock leveled up. So that's good to go. Now, getting into what I was going to a minute ago. I'm finally at that point, dude, where I'm starting, of course I'm starting with the Crucible, but I'm starting to focus on builds. I have all this armor that like, I've barely dismantled any armor to wait till I got to this point. And, I got my chaperone. I've been testing different stuff out, throwing up some videos on my YouTube channel. But, my favorite loadout right now isn't a bow. I do still love my bows, but I put the bow down for a minute and I'm running chaperone and the Trust hand cannon, dude. It's 180 RPM. That's the Gambit one, right? Trust is from Gambit. Isn't that right?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. I love that hand cannon. I don't know.
Good.
It's like everything, for me with that hand cannon. If a weapon, there's so many different layers to a weapon. If it doesn't, look cool, but it still gets the job done, that's okay. But then there's that aspect of like, it feels good. Like, for example, the inaugural address. Like, I love that gun and it gets the job done. It's super potent, especially right now in the Crucible. But it's like, there's no weight to it, you know? Just feels like a pea shooter, even though it gets the job done.
Yeah.
You just can't, like, I don't have rumble on my controller, but I can still tell when there's weight to a gun.
Right.
I like the inaugural address still, but the Trust, dude, when you shoot that thing, I feel like it's in my hand. Like it kicks. I don't know what it is about it. And it's 180 RPM, so you're shooting it fast. It looks cool. I got the ornament from Eververse this week for it, which looks really cool. I love that there's legendary ornaments now. And so anyways, I'm actually going to throw up I'll have at this point, when you're listening to this, I'll have a live com of this loadout. But Chaperone and Trust, dude, I never really used Chaperone that much, but man, is it fun. That Roadborne perk or whatever you proc after getting your first headshot, the range on the thing is ridiculous.
Yeah.
You just surprise yourself with some of the kills you get. But so with that, I went through all my gear and basically spec'd out a PvP Chaperone Trust rocket launcher loadout. I even modded everything. I've got all but like my helmet has one perk that isn't really helping me out. It's not a weapon that I'm using that I have an option for, but I have like my first fully spec'd out set for the Crucible, and I'm absolutely loving it, man. I spent a little bit of time in my menus. I modded everything up. I love that whole aspect. I just enjoy it. And then I go into the Crucible and just test it out. And dude, it's lethal. Like I can't wait to do more. I don't know how many different sets I'm going to have for how many different loadouts, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. So I feel weird not having my bow, but it's okay to have different play styles. So that's pretty much what I've been doing, man. I'm still grinding away at the broadsword and the Luna's Howl. I'm hoping to still keep working away at those quests because I do really, really want that Luna's Howl competitive hand cannon. But I'm just excited to be at that point where I can infuse, build my Crucible gear sets and my loadouts and just go in and destroy.
Nice, man.
That's it.
You're such a nerd.
I am a nerd. I'm a Crucible nerd, dude.
I know. I respect it, though. I mean, we're all our own unique type of nerd.
Yes. You tell me your nerdiness now.
Yes. So, I'm a sucker for punishment and nerd out on just grinding PvE stuff. And, last reset, it was halfway through the week, and we took a really hard crack at the Shattered Throne, man. Couldn't finish it.
Is it 590 or 580?
It ends at 590. I think
okay.
the first boss, I want to say is 580.
Okay.
And then the last boss is 590. And I'm trying to remember exactly, but I want to say one of us was like 569 and then the other two were 70s. And it was just tough, man. I mean, if we were going to do it at that power, we just had to be way better than we were.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, we spent, I think, 3 or 4 hours and gave up. And,
dang. Wow.
It was tough, but respect. It's like a high level activity. We'll definitely be able to do it when it comes back around. Most of it was just that power check, like being really spongy, underpowered, and then, doing that much less damage just made it very difficult to pull off. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't make many mistakes. In one of the arenas, I mean, I don't want to spoil too much, but the first boss arena, like, there's just nowhere to hide, and you're just totally surrounded. So you're gonna get shredded one way or another. So, but it was fun. It was fun to try, and then tried really hard, man, to get that meatball to drop, and
couldn't get it.
We went in Monday night before reset after we finished running the raid, and first game, and went to final point, like third round, and we didn't even know it showed up because the team we were playing we did good on our first. I think we won our first round, and we were feeling good. In the second round, they came back really hard, beat us, pretty handily. And then the third round, we're steamrolling us, to be honest. Mm-hmm. And we got...
It's weird how that happens in Gambit, right? I noticed that.
I don't know what exactly they were doing, but they were beating us. And we got our primeval up as they finished theirs and realized it was the meatball.
Oh, man, dude.
It was so crushing, man.
I was hoping you were going to tell me that.
Because I lost count of how many hours and how many games I played last week trying to get them to come up, and then that was our one chance.
Dang.
It stunk, but
that does stink.
We'll get it eventually. It's kind of a weird mechanic for a quest.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily they're, adjusting the drop, so you have a better chance of getting it. But
I mean, I played a decent amount of Gambit, not like a crazy ton, just kind of doing bounties and hoping I would get it. And yeah, I mean, nowhere to be found.
I played many hours.
Yeah.
Many hours.
I think I saw
don't know how many
somewhere
games, but it was more than 10 hours.
I think it was Strayu from IGN, Fireteam Chat, he said he played 115 games, and then it finally
I've seen that
spawned. That's just crazy, dude. That's
One of my
insane.
buddies, this was really unfortunate. They were in a round, and in the middle of the round, he got disconnected. And because of how they changed the, if you remember, they disabled reconnecting. Mm-hmm. So before he could get back in, it dropped a new player in. And so he couldn't get back in. And then the Meatball showed up.
Man.
And all his teammates got it, and he didn't.
No, dude.
Yeah. Real bad.
I guess feels better than them not getting it because they were down a player.
Yeah.
Teammates got it.
They were able to pull it off.
Take one for the team.
I mean, jeez, that's gotta burn, you know? I think he did end up getting it the next, like a few days later though, before reset. So
RNG
that
was
good.
Kind.
It was. But anyways, this reset, man, I did all kinds of stuff, you know, but it was kind of cool to see the reset of the Dreaming City. Mm-hmm. And there was unique dialogue. It wasn't just like, the same stuff. Like all the characters in the Dreaming City are self-aware that something's up.
Yeah. There's some
That's
sort of
cool
repeating process here.
Yeah. So there's unique dialogue and you rerun missions, but you know, they're the same, but they have different dialogue about what's going on and all that's happening. And so that was pretty cool. You know, a different Ascendant challenge though. Mm-hmm. So I do believe there's 6 of those.
That's
6
right.
different ones.
Yeah, I was thinking it was the first one again. Yeah, that's right. It's on a 6 rotation. So
and trying to think what other kind of stuff. So we went in, ran the raid last night on Wednesday. We've pretty well mastered all the encounters up to the final boss now.
Okay.
We're gonna go back in another night this weekend to work on that a little bit, but had a lot of fun in the past couple weeks learning all these new encounters and stuff. And some of them are super complicated, but you know, we figure it out and get it down. And got some good loot, man. You know, we were talking before the show. I've had a number of year 1 exotics dropping from challenges and just out in the wild. I just don't have anything new. Mm-hmm. I did get what is the chest piece called again? It is the Phoenix Protocol for my Warlock, and it works really well. You stand in your well of radiance, and it will give you your super back when you make kills and assists. And so I tried it out in the blind well, and I would typically get about 90% of my super back.
Nice.
When using it. So it was pretty cool. Constantly have that well back, man, just popping it over and over.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really fun. What else have I gotten into? Gambit, lots more Gambit. I'm really close to resetting my rank, so I'm looking forward to trying to do that. At least have that triumph done towards the eventually getting that Dredgen title. I've seen some Guardians out there in the past week or so earning that title. I think it's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, dude, the titles are super cool. I'm just chugging away at my Crucible one. That one's gonna take a bit.
That one's gonna take a while. I'm pretty sure one of the triumphs is you have to reach Legend in over 3 seasons.
Yeah,
That's pretty. That's a
big one
out there.
Yeah, I have 4 of 10 right now. I'm gonna try and get as much as I can get done this season, but yeah, it's gonna be multiple seasons.
Good luck, man. I don't have the stones for it.
I want it. Unbroken.
Yeah. But yeah, man. That's as far as I can recall off the top of my head. That's what I've gotten into. I mean, kind of just getting in there and doing the challenges this week, and looking forward to hopefully finishing the raid.
Yeah, dude, that's cool. Very cool.
Yeah. Having a lot of fun, man. There's a ton of stuff to do every week, you know. Mm-hmm. I've been keeping up with challenges on 2 characters, and I've started working on the campaign on my Hunter just a little bit. before reset, and then I got him a little bit further when I had some time this week. So I'm almost to the point where I have to start chasing after the barons. And that won't take too long to get through. So I'm going to kind of just a little bit at a time try to get him to where he's, level 50 and done with the campaign and getting to the Dreaming City. Mm-hmm. Once I get there, I can get him powered up pretty quick.
Yeah, that's where I was at this week with my Warlock. I just kind of chugged away at those barons. I love the process of leveling a character. I love leveling to 50 through those, beginning levels. But
I was dreading it a little bit. I was like, oh, I don't know if I want to have to run this through. And then when I actually got into it, like it's a fun campaign to go through. Yeah.
It's fun.
I'm enjoying it again. I was like, I might want to go jump on my hunter tonight. So yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I was playing a lot of Crucible on my hunter. But I've moved back over to my Titan. They're just so strong right now in the Crucible.
Yeah, man, the first super I unlocked on the hunter is the what is it called? Way of 1,000 Cuts? Is that?
Yeah, that I right? Did not. Yes, I want that. I want it.
Well, I've watched all my buddies using different ones, and they seem to enjoy that one a lot
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, somebody put it very succinctly, and it was a very good point on Reddit. They pointed out that that super is basically an instant Nova Bomb that does more damage.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of pretty much outclasses that ability altogether.
Right now. I just smacked one in the head the other day with my hammer, and he just looked at me and threw that super up, and I was dead while I was still in my super.
Yeah, it's tough, man. I mean, if they jump above you and cast it, you're dead. I mean, unless you can anticipate it and get behind something, like, that's it.
Yep.
There's not much you can do about it. So yeah, it's real nasty.
I'd like to get some of these Titan exotics, man. There's some, we were talking about it before the show. There's some crazy ones I'd love to get. The one-eyed mask we were talking about. There's so much Titan love on these exotic stuff right now. Yeah.
Yep.
So hopefully soon.
Soon. They'll come. Hopefully, especially once this patch hits. I'm wondering how long it'll be till we see some new Xur exotics too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just praying any day now.
Yep, hopefully.
We were talking last week, and it definitely didn't happen last reset.
No, it didn't.
We were like,
I don't know how long
he'll show up, but
he
did not.
Yep.
He did not.
Hopefully soon.
Well, how about some Derp Fam discourse? We got a couple emails, right?
Yeah, dude. Yep, we got a couple emails. One we've been sitting on for a little bit, and we felt like this is why we do that. What a great episode to read this one, speaking about Bungie's new trademark and things like that. So this is from Shadow Strike. He says, subject line of the next big thing. Hey, Arrow Knight and Cyborg. Like every Guardian, I'm counting also, just a heads up, this is before Forsaken, as you'll see. Like every Guardian, I'm counting down the days until Forsaken launches. The hype train has me more excited than ever. I'm sure you're hyped, Shadow Strike. We've talked to you, but tweet at us and let us know if you're still just as hyped. While I wait for September 4th to arrive, I keep remembering a topic you guys briefly discussed on the show several months ago. I think you were talking about Bungie's new partnership with NetEase, and Cyborg mentioned it's possible that Destiny 3 could launch 1 year from now in September 2019. Do you think that is in Bungie's plans? I don't know if I could handle Destiny 3 in only 1 year, knowing everything that's coming with Forsaken. For one thing, I haven't even finished all the Warmind and Solstice activities. How can I finish Forsaken and all its upcoming events by next year? I might have to look into the Braytech Exo technology. Maybe I could create an Exo version of myself that keeps playing Destiny while the real me dives into Destiny 3. What do you think? Your fan, Shadow Strike. We might all have to figure that out, man, with how much there is to do in Destiny 2 right now. So yeah, somewhat relevant. He mentions that partnership we talked about quite a while back. The partnership they had with, they made with NetEase. And, who knows if it's related, this whole matter. Trademark, who knows if it's even a video game, who knows if it's who knows what it is. But, I think we can comfortably say now, I think we've gotten confirmation in that article. It seems likely we're not going to see Destiny 3 next fall, right? We pretty much almost 100% know that at this point. Maybe not 100%, right? We were talking about that a couple episodes ago. It was in that Japanese article too. I think that Scott Taylor said he's working on future projects, but kind of insinuated that Destiny 3 might be a ways
that could
out.
mean anything, though.
True. Yeah.
I guess we don't working on Destiny 3.
Yeah. I mean, obviously they're working on it.
Yeah. I'm not super confident of anything anymore.
Yeah.
I think it's entirely possible that we could see another big expansion next year.
Mm-hmm. I'm totally fine with it. I hope we work into a different model of release.
Yeah, that's the hope.
Yeah. I hope.
It's
even
just
if they
hard
call
to
it
say.
Destiny 3.
They've done so much different that I don't know, things could be evolving and plans could change.
Yeah, I think we're definitely at a pivotal point with the release of Forsaken. Like,
it's a great question. What is the next big thing? And I don't think we're going to know for a while. Mm-hmm. I would expect we'll have something in the fall. And so in the end, honestly, I don't care as long as we get something.
Something. Yeah. Yeah. And I think also the other part of your question about so much to do, man, I mean, a lot of the community just asked, one of the big parts of the feedback was we want more to do. Now I feel like we have to get comfortable with the thought of kind of what we mentioned earlier in this episode. We might have to just get comfortable with the fact that we definitely are not going to be able to do everything. I'm kind of figuring that out. Like, I don't know. The other day I hopped in the, back in the Whisper of the Worm heroic mission because of course it's easier now. So at some point, I'll probably go back and get my catalyst for that sniper rifle. But, it's just an example of, do I want to go back and get that? Where do I want to spend my time and my attention? I'm a big PvP guy. Maybe I won't spend a whole lot of time in the raid. Maybe I won't. How long will it be before I make it to the Shattered Throne, There's just so much to do. I mean, you can just spend your time at this point just playing Gambit if that's your thing. So I don't know. We might have to just accept that we might not be able to do all the things.
I agree. There's so much to do now, and I think that they're adding a lot more variety of stuff that you kind of have to, and you're able to
play the way you want.
Yeah, play the stuff you enjoy the most, and just be okay that you can't get every single piece of gear or achieve every single milestone there is to get,
Mm-hmm. It is weird so quickly to be back in that position. I mean, Destiny 1 was somewhat like that, but we're on a whole nother level of things to do in our favorite game at this point. It's just, it's not like we're Forever 29 and we just can't get the boots to drop. There's like 10 different Forever 29s going on right now for me.
Right.
So that's a good thing though, right? Good question, Shadow Strike. I mean, great topic. You'll have to tweet at us or email us again. And now that Forsaken is launched and we have gotten some of this information, let us know if your thoughts have changed at all and if you're enjoying the content.
Next up, we've got an email from Shadow Eyes titled Bounties. He says, "Hey guys, Shadow Eyes here again. Just want to start by saying love the new DLC, but I have one gripe. When I'm in orbit, all I would like to do is click on a planet, hover over a vendor, and be able to click and enable the bounties. Then going to the planets or even the tower, it would just save so much time to where I can just click and jump into an activity. Just a thought, but love the podcast and Warlock Maine."
There you have it.
That would be great.
We were talking about that earlier. I couldn't remember if we dropped this email in the show notes for this week or not. I will say I do like some of the rituals in the game. Like, for example, my engrams. Now that we've played for a while, my prime engrams do feel like I still have that aspect in the game. I do kind of wish exotic engrams were still a thing. But some of the rituals I like, man. Like, I do like having to visit the tower. But where it becomes a problem is, like you said, when you spend probably literally 20 minutes, if not more, loading into spaces to pick up things to then finally go start playing the game, right?
Right.
So, there's a fine line there.
The biggest gripe is, okay, you're playing different activities and then your friends are like, get on. They're like, hey, we're about to do Gambit. You want to jump in? And you're like, oh, yeah, but I need to grab the bounties. Okay. 10 minutes later, you're ready.
That just happened this week to us too. My cousin jumped on and we were already in the blind well. Actually, it happened in 3 tiers. We were already in the blind well. I was. And then my friend jumped in and he had to go get the bounties. And then I'm like, dude, join. This is going to fill up soon. So he joins. And then my cousin texts and he's like, wait for me. And I'm like, dude, we're already in here. So he had to go. I mean, it was literally, like you said, it was 10 to 20 minutes before all of us were in there doing the thing. So.
Yeah. It's less than ideal in a game that, you know, it's kind of up to them how to implement this stuff. It's not really, I mean, it is, but it's not a technical restriction. It's a choice, you know. And at the end of the day, you're essentially burning thousands of hours of people's collective time.
Yeah.
Is that
now, granted, those
a good choice?
Those PC Guardians are loaded in a lot quicker than we are right now.
Yeah, sure. Good for them. All 10 of them, you know.
Yeah. They have acknowledged though, I believe somewhere the team acknowledged that they are looking into the performance issues on the console versions of the game right now. Thank goodness. Hopefully some of that gets resolved and it's not just because the hardware is kind of old at this point.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, great point. I think that would be a lovely solution if that was possible. Maybe somebody will hear that. Maybe that'll be the thing one day. That would just be great.
I like that idea to hover over the planet and then the vendor. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. Or just let me pick it up with like the companion app. That's been a request for years.
Do that like before you head home.
Vendor interactivity, dude. All right. Thanks for the Dirt Fam feedback, the discourse. Send us your emails, destinyresetpodcast@gmail.com or speakpipe.com/destinyreset.
Yeah, they heard us last week. We got quite a few this week. Keep them coming, guys. There's so much to talk about right now. I'm sure
appreciate that.
We're not hitting on everything you guys would like to hear, so just shoot us an email. Let us know.
Do we have any new patrons this week?
We do. We got a big shout out to our buddy Thaden. Been a long time Dirt Fam member, and he said he's been meaning to do this for a while. So thank you, man. Big shout out. Appreciate it.
And also Offensive Titan.
Yes. Dude, I thought that was part of the title. Sorry, Offensive Titan. Massive shout out to Offensive Titan. Thank you very much for the Patreon edition there. Thanks a lot.
If you don't know what a Patreon or patron or any of those words mean, go to patreon.com/destinyreset, where for as little as $1 a month, you can support the production budget of our show. You get a few perks if you do so. You get a shout out on the podcast, of course. You get your gamer tag on our website as a patron and an invitation to our Discord channel just for Dirt Fam patrons and supporters. As always, we appreciate all of our patrons that continue to support us month after month. Thank you so much.
So. It means a lot to us, Guardians. Of course, all of your downloads do as well. Very much so.
All right, man. That'll be it for this week, I think.
I think so.
Where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, and actually Instagram and Facebook if you want. It's AER0KNIGHT with a 0. I am posting, like I said, I'm getting to that point in the Crucible where I'm doing builds. So I've got pretty regular live comms going up at this point, at least once a week. Nothing too crazy. I try to do once a week. So if you're interested at all in that, I'd appreciate you checking out my YouTube channel. What about you, dude?
Yeah, you can find me at CyborgSasquatch on Twitter and Mixer. And finally, you can find us at Destiny Reset on Twitter or on the web at www.destinyresetpodcast.com. That's your source for all things DRP, including links to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app of choice, where you'll now hear us every Monday.
Ooh, the hype there, dude. I think they're going to be excited about that.
Thank you for your reviews on Apple Podcasts. I think we have at least one new one this week, right?
We do. You want to shout it out?
Yep, Scott Woodmansey, or Scott Woodman C, something like that. Appreciate your review.
Very much.
Yep. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you haven't left us a review, please do. Helps us get seen by more listeners looking for a Destiny podcast.
All right, dude.
All right, man.
Another week.
Another week.
It's kind of early. I'm going to go play some Destiny, I think.
Yep. Corruption's low. Stay safe.
All right, guys. Until next week, have fun playing Destiny 2. And take care, Guardians.